If someone disagrees with us as a Christian, what we believe, and I do believe this is what Jesus would do, he would say we need to tolerate them socially and personally because he tells us to love our neighbors. It does not mean we need to agree with everything that
or
they
qualify
believe.
them.
Or qualify. I'm not going to qualify. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, you're right, or whatever, and everything that they do. We should treat them right. But that doesn't mean we agree 100% with everything that's going on in their life. So that's an act of tolerance in the world that they're in.
Okay, happy days are here again. Happy days, the Rangers won the World Series.
First time ever, man. Fantastic.
I don't even know. We don't ever watch baseball until they go to
World
Series. And I'm like, oh, and then we're experts immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, hey,
Yeah,
that was a ball.
I know everybody now in the team.
But it was neat to kind of see how the
watch.
bullpen works again, and I didn't know that coach was the same coach that got him to the playoffs, the World Series, the first time and lost. I think I heard in 2011 or 14.
And then he retired. Then they brought him back.
They brought him back. He came out of retirement
just for this.
Did you watch the game?
Uh-huh.
I
watched the whole World Series.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah.
And then we have football. The Cowboys. So we're local guys, so the Cowboys are our team, and Texas Rangers locally here.
Mavericks, Stars, you name it.
Yeah.
I'm a Dallas boy.
And the Dallas Cowboys didn't even look like Dallas Cowboys. Last time they were just like, they were writing their own checks on that game.
Yeah.
But is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
At 3.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, enough about sports. Let's get into some good podcast, real Christian talk. How about we do that?
Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to the Real Christians podcast. It's not just another podcast for Christians, but it's for non-Christians as well.
Where we talk about real life issues, real faith, and knowing the real Jesus.
We do. And the word real was very well thought out because I don't like fluff. I don't like... I see things out there. I'm like, I mean, come on, get real. Let's talk about some real substance here.
Absolutely.
Let's just not talk about kumbaya.
Yeah, Jesus talked about real substance. So
real things, real struggles.
Yeah, and we all deal with things. So let's talk about real issues that we all deal with.
What is it we're talking about? You picked this thing, and I can't wait to learn about what being tolerant means.
Let's talk about tolerance.
Tolerance.
So let me ask you, coming from your background, Doug, when you hear the word tolerance, what does it mean to you?
I don't practice tolerance very well.
So what about tolerance for, I'm just going to go, because we've already talked about it one time, like homosexuality, transgender, different belief structures that we have.
Extreme conservatism.
Absolutely. So where does tolerance fit in all that with you, Doug?
Okay, all right. You that's way different. That's a little more deep, like you said.
I was going to go
than just where we're going to eat.
I wanted the shallow, but I also want the deep because I think we can discuss all this.
I have my own opinions, obviously, and my own beliefs that I'm still forming, and I'm logical, so I can be convinced if it makes sense to me, and I feel like I don't know everything, but I don't as far as different political parties and tolerance of like you said, gay and lesbians or criminals or I don't know what I don't know, Ryan. I don't know.
No, it's good.
I don't know what
you don't know what you're tolerant of.
I have a hard time tolerating things more. I think now. I don't know why.
In today's society, what do you think society today means by tolerance? A baseline for what we believe tolerance is. That's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring it back around here in a second, but I want you're closer to kind of the secular world out there just because you're newer to the belief structure and you have different views than I do in certain areas. And I just wanted to, and I'm not picking on you. What I'm trying to do is bring out what are some of those ideas that are out there right now so we can talk about it.
Our division in our country, the fact that, I'm watching some stuff on Abraham Lincoln and, the compromising that took place back then and the reasoning and I don't always have to be right or get my way. I'm willing to compromise. and the way now, I don't see a lot of our Democratic and Republic friends in Congress. They don't seem to demonstrate the ability to compromise, and it's now become more of a field of just blackmailing and exposing your weakness and just going for the jugular. I have a hard time tolerating watching that because it seems now like a circus. So I don't watch it. So I'm not tolerating ingesting it, but I'm having to tolerate the reality of it that's going on.
Yeah, and I think that's a good tolerant. That's a good way of defining how we should be tolerant. Because when I look at the world today, how we define tolerance today, this is my view, this is the way I see it, okay, is that we're to be accepting of other people's beliefs and that they are 100% true, and that I need to accept those beliefs as being true. And if we don't accept those things that are true, or what they perceive to be true, then I'm not tolerant. I'm bad. I'm, not good.
Right.
And
I'm not very Christian-like if I can't see their point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the past way we view tolerance is, look, we acknowledge that we all have a different belief and that we need to accept that it's their right to do so, even if it's wrong. So we can agree to disagree and still be okay. Okay. And really, we really even need to boil it down into two different ways. Are we talking to unbelievers or are we talking to believers? Because as unbelievers, they have their own belief system. And we should be tolerant of whatever they believe. That's their thing.
As believers,
as believers, yeah. I'm a believer. They're a non-believer. We need to be tolerant on whatever. I'm not going to get mad at them for believing what they believe. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to let it persuade me one way or the other. If you want to believe that, go after it. Now, if you, as a Christian brother of mine, come to me and you start telling me that you're believing something that is totally against Scripture, I'm not going to be tolerant of that.
When you say I'm not going to tolerate it, that means therefore that you're going to do something about it.
Yeah, I'm going to now try to explain why it's wrong or why your thinking is a little off. And if I do that, it's more or less going to be just backed by Scripture.
Right.
Okay. If it's some generality out there, I'm not even going to attempt it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's not me trying to persuade you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you what God's Scripture says, and I'm going to let God be the one to persuade you. Because that's where it's going to sink in.
You just show them the part in the Bible that explains what it is that you're not wanting to be tolerant of about them, and what, and then what? Then go. I've done my. Yeah, is that as far as you go?
To a certain point, and if it is directly against something in Scripture with another believer, I might go a little further. Okay, but we'll get into that. So what I want to also know is just because I may not be tolerant or I may not be accepting of what someone believes to be their truth, mm-hmm. does not mean I don't love them. It just means I don't agree with you. Okay, and we've gotten to this point in society where we have this idea: well, if you're not tolerant of me, then you don't love me. You're my enemy, mm-hmm. and I'm going to treat you like that. And I think that's very, very harmful in a society. Because now we've created a huge wedge, and we shouldn't be nowhere near that.
I fell victim to that when Donald Trump was elected. I was kind of like, hey, let's give the guy a shot, And again, this is this is a good topic because I know people are going to disagree with me, probably statistically half the country. But I don't like the guy. His history of lying and infidelity and all the criminal things, but then he was a figure that represented something over time that I went, oh my gosh, I can't believe what I'm seeing, and therefore I went, oh, surely every logical person is seeing what I'm seeing, and was going to go, yeah, we only have to deal with this, for 3 more years or whatever, but no, it was like, isn't he great? His policies. So I know I don't want to get political, but you talk about tolerance, and so therefore some family members were, he's great. And I'm going, wait a minute. It literally did a number on me to where I had to self-evaluate. How can I like this person or love this person if they like this guy who is in charge of our country, is the highest power in our country? So it's not just like, you don't like that football player. Okay, I do. Okay, but what do I place on the president? I got into it. Like, how could I like somebody or love somebody if they are liking what this guy's doing, what he stands for? He's their bully, and I'm not on the extreme left going, everybody should get free health care, and I'm not there either. I'm all for the American dream. Work hard, get rewarded, kind of thing. But I found myself not being able to tolerate it, and I thought, I don't think I can. I think I'm going to have to distance myself from this family member, which would not be a good thing. That'd be a very difficult thing to do, since he was my dad.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So now you're going, my core, my upbringing. I already got dad issues as it is. Now I got this on top of it. It put a wedge between he and me.
Who put the wedge there?
I felt like he was wanting to convince me that I was seeing things the wrong way, and that he wanted me to see his way of things. And therefore, and he was bringing up stuff that wasn't, when he would say stuff, I would fact check it, and it was not true. It was one of those, that's not true. It's not even close to being factual, but
I don't know how you find facts these days, but
right.
So
then I really got angry and thought, so how do I tolerate that?
So then let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to be point.
Yeah.
Do you think everybody should agree with what you think?
No.
Okay, so then why do you get angry when someone doesn't? Or why do you let that affect you emotionally? I
think it's, I try to tie it to other, like, if they're willing to think about this, if this is their beliefs in there, what else? It's like a law thing. Well, surely, if he lied about this, surely he's going to lie about other things too, Your Honor, jury, that kind of thing. Like, okay, this is going to snowball because it's now getting into your values, into what you believe, how you should live and treat other people.
So I'm going to throw, and this is all.
Did I answer the question? I don't even know.
It does to a degree, but it's all coming back to this whole tolerance idea, because God does tolerate. Do you think God tolerates us in everything that we do? That's
a good question.
Even though we don't act and do everything that He tells us to do and act and not do,
He shows us grace.
Yeah, absolutely. So He shows us grace. He doesn't tolerate our sin. He doesn't do anything along those lines. There's consequences and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you're holding people to a higher standard on things, and you're not willing to let that go. You're putting a wedge between someone just because you now have a difference between us. And this whole idea of tolerating someone because they have a different viewpoint of things, that's okay. We shouldn't let our differences impact our relationships, impact our ability to even be able to communicate, because that's where relationships are broken down. That's where I believe this whole economy and this whole situation in our country, we have just let it just cause chaos within even our own family structures, is like what you're talking about. So being tolerant of someone else's idea, even when it doesn't match with the way you think, that's where I'm trying to get to with this whole tolerance idea. It's okay for someone else to have different views than we do, and we can still get along and be just fine with it. Okay.
I don't know if the get along part. That's the part where, almost toxic people. If you find yourself.
Can we not talk about things that are different than what we believed and still have a decent conversation?
I don't know.
We should, because that's how we work things through. When there's something in Scripture that you don't agree with, that I do agree with, how do we work through that if we don't have a conversation?
Yeah.
We have to get to that point. We have to
see each other's side's point of view.
We do.
Yeah.
We've gotten to so point that we have said, hey, this is my truth, and you're not going to change it.
If somebody who thought differently, okay, whatever scenario you want to throw up,
yeah.
And I go, can I show you something? and it shows that was either wrong or incorrect, or it was contradictory to this, and it was, I don't know how you can prove it's true, but it was literally like a really good, like, oh, if you were a logical person and you were willing to hear the other person's point of view, you I would think should say, I've never thought about it that way. But
and this is not against you. We
Yeah.
should all be doing this.
right. But it's that I don't care what that says.
It's for
Anybody
everybody.
who doesn't agree with something and we're trying to find common ground and says, it says I got to walk away, it's either A, because they don't want to listen, or B, that they're afraid they're going to get angry.
Possibly. And maybe walking away can be a good thing, but you've got to be able to come back to be able to talk about things. We have to talk
How
through
do you
stuff.
do that? How do you do that when it's different though than talking about what's your favorite movie, what's your favorite food, what sports you. If somebody likes the L.A. Rams and I can't stand the L.A. Rams.
Okay, let's take this away in a different direction. Let's say you're talking to an unbeliever. Are you just going to get up and walk away because they don't believe like you do?
I guess if I knew that they were a non-believer.
Yeah. Like you're witnessing to them. You're sitting there talking to them and they come up and say, I don't believe what you're saying because I think it's hogwash. I think it's all magical. You're trying to make it's like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, all that kind of stuff. How do you react to that?
If they're a non-believer,
Yeah.
I would say I'd want to say, I can't really discuss this with you because there's already a wall. Just the fact that you're not a Christian, you don't believe in all that, then I would say that we really is pointless to talk about this. I mean, I could debate with you, and they go, "Come on, you're not going to talk with me about this." I would go, "You want to talk to me about why I am silly for believing in an imaginary God, and you want me to engage with you on this? What should I do, Ryan?"
I mean, if it was me, I'm going to say, here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's why it's real to me. I'm going to tell my testimony. I'm going to share my faith with him. And then I'm going to leave it up to God to do that. Now, are you going to be angry with them?
Oh, now if I'm able to share that with them.
Yeah. No, are you
But
going to be
if
angry
after you
with
get
them?
done with that and they said, I hear what you're saying, dude, but it's all in your mind.
Yeah.
And when we're dead, we're dead. Nobody goes to
So
heaven.
how do you feel about that person whenever you're talking?
And then when they finish saying that, which was basically a
They're
screw
trying to
you,
They're trying to. That happens. That's normal.
then I would say, I'm sorry that you feel that way. We obviously don't agree on that. And but
Are you going to be the friend?
pass me the fries or something.
Okay. So why is that any different than how we do other topics? You see what I'm saying? So we should be having that same mindset to go, hey, if we disagree, that's okay. Pass me the French fries.
And
give me
you
the
choose
ketchup.
to say, let's move on to another thing to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're not going to see eye to eye.
Right.
It's perfectly fine.
Right.
You vote your way. I'm going to vote my way. I'm going to support whatever team I
I
support.
find myself doing that, and then getting to okay, let's talk about the weather.
And then do not let it affect the relationship. That's where tolerance we should get to. That's kind of where I'm getting it. But if we're allowing these differences to impact how we feel about somebody else, where it becomes unloving, uncaring, all this stuff, that is wrong. And that's kind of where I'm getting to. That's what this whole system right now is designed to do, is create that wedge. And then now we have truly, broken away from even the ability to communicate.
I mean, this is a big one because, I mean, right now there's a war going on because people can't agree, can't see the other person's point of view.
We'll get to that one in another one.
But why is it? I mean, when I ask this, I'm asking it almost in a I don't know if there is almost as if I don't know if there is a way.
There is a way. We've done it in the past. It never was this polarized in the past. Why now?
Do you think that this topic of being tolerant, and its relationship with where we are in 2023, at the end of 2023, in our country or the world?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. And let's throw out another big topic out there. How many genders are there, Doug?
Yeah, I still struggle with that one. I'm like, come
How
on.
many? So how many genders are there? I'm asking you.
There should be two.
Exactly. Okay. So that's a truth that we've always had. So when someone says I'm a them or they,
I
okay,
know, I
look,
don't
I
get that.
feel bad for them first off, okay, and I'm not judging them. I'm not anything along those lines.
My wife has a them or they at her work, and we're talking about
Yeah,
it. Like,
absolutely,
what do
because
we
this
do?
is a real topic. So my question is, do we just tolerate that?
That dude, we debated this the other day. In my mind, to be respectful to Avery, because she's in this world, and she's like, "Oh, I'll just say, oh, they're over there," and I'll go, "Well, what if blah blah blah?" Then what would you say? When you have to point out a he or she, and we're debating this thing, and why? In my mind, I'm guilty of this. I'm going. We shouldn't have to adapt to that. What we shouldn't have to conform to this, and laws are going to be written around it, and it's going to affect healthcare. It's going to affect housing communities and workplace, bathrooms, everything. And I'm going, can't we just go back to the man and woman, the girl and boy thing? And though there are exceptions, okay, exceptions that people feel different ways about their sexuality. Okay, that's been going on from the
Long,
beginning of time.
long time. So, and I bring that one up, and you could use this one for if a guy thinks they're a girl or a girl thinks they're a guy or whatever the case may be. Okay. So when I'm dealing with someone like this, I will tell them I don't agree with you. I'm just still love you. I'll tolerate you.
Now, is this person a Christian?
No,
If they're not a Christian,
if they're not a Christian, then I'm going to say I'll tolerate you. I mean, I'm not going to agree with you. I think there's only two genders. I think if you're born a woman, you're a woman. If you're born a man, you're a man. You can't change that. Okay, that's how I believe. But you know what? I'll tolerate you. I'll love you, whatever the case may be. But I will not agree with you because that goes completely against truth.
so you're saying that I actually identify as a woman. I am attracted to men, but I'm not gay. I feel like a woman, and therefore I'm pretty sure you could say God made a mistake, which we know isn't happening, or I've got these feelings and I cannot resist dealing with it and pretending that I like women and I'm going to get married to a woman and have children and live a normal life. This normal life thing. And that's the debate, I would say. So you're saying that I should suppress these thoughts and not do anything about it and just be stuck in my
I don't,
own.
I don't think you should suppress anything. I mean, that's a bigger issue than anything else. I would want to know. Okay, so one, how long have you felt this way? What are some things going on in your past that may have caused you to do this? Because we used to call that a mental illness when someone thought they were something else. If you have another person who goes around walking like a dog, I think they got a mental illness because they're not a dog. A human can't be a dog.
So it's a mental thing.
It's a mental thing, in my opinion. Now they're going to disagree with me, and I understand that. I'm still going to love you. I'm going to love you.
I just don't get it.
Okay, I don't agree with you, but I'm going to love you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's in my opinion. That's being tolerant of that person, of a non-believer, and how they think and stuff like that.
You don't feel compelled to change their mind
I
or
can't.
to say, look, I'm going to show you where you're wrong, and hopefully they're going to go, God, nobody's ever told me that way before. Thank you.
I mean, I'm going to tell them if they ask me, I'm going to tell them why I think that, and maybe that gives me an opportunity to even share my faith with them because it says God created Adam and Eve. He created them like that. God did not make a mistake in how you created you as a male or as a female. If you feel that you're something else, now you have a problem, not God. God made you exactly how He wants you to be. You're the one with the issue in your head on adapting or accepting who God made you to be. That is a whole nother issue.
You're giving in to potentially the
feelings.
devil
Yeah, absolutely. Man, huge.
and saying, I want to be with other men, and I'm a man. And I don't know why, but God made me this way. This is the thought process that I've heard people explain, and I've gone, I don't know. And I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I would not want to be in your shoes having to struggle with that. So there's where we go, I feel bad, still love you, and then move on. So tolerate. right? So we just tolerate that.
So here's what I'm going to say. If someone disagrees with us as a Christian, what we believe, and I do believe this is what Jesus would do, he would say we need to tolerate them socially and personally with them. Because he tells us to love our neighbors.
Yeah.
That's outside of, we need to love everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, love them. It does not mean we need to agree with everything that
Or
they
qualify
believe.
them.
Or qualify. I'm not going to qualify. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, you're right, or whatever, and everything that they do. So we should love. We should serve them. We should befriend them. We should treat them right. But that doesn't mean we agree 100% with everything that's going on in their life. So that's an act of tolerance in the world that they're in.
Fuck.